way out. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cinema Chad. I'm Chadwick Webb, and I'm here to announce a new series that I'm starting to do. It's kind of a doozy, and I'm not sure how relevant it's going to be, but it's something that I've thought about doing, and I got really excited to start and see how long it might take me, see how far I can get to if I am into it, in a little while. But basically, I want to go through the whole MCU. The Marvel Cinematic Universe. Reason being, I have a special relationship with this world, the cinematic world. I have gone to see pretty much most of the movies in theaters, and then there's still one I haven't seen, that's Captain America 4. And I know in today's times the MCU is not what it was. As soon as the Infinity Saga ended, it kind of seemed like they lost a little bit of their direction. That's kind of turned a lot of people off, and I'd be lying if I said that my enthusiasm for the franchise was at an all-time high. It's just not. There have been moments where it's surged, but I still really want to return to it, go through all the movies, all the shows. I have done rankings before where I've gone through and watched, but I've never really sat down, watched the movies, and then reviewed them in a format like this. So I'm very excited to get into this and try to post my thoughts on them and try to be as open as I've ever been to all of these movies and see if my thoughts change. Some of my stances on some of these movies widen or grow in some way or sharpen, and just have fun revisiting a lot of these movies. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the first movie that started it all, Iron Man from 2008, directed by Jon Favreau, starring Robert Downey Jr. This movie's a big deal. It was, and it still is. Now, whether this movie has kind of stayed in people's rankings higher, as one of the great movies, I don't know. It's somewhat fallen for me before because the MCU has given us so many great things that it's hard to look back sometimes at the first movie that started 20 plus movie franchise and go, hey, remember Iron Man? Wasn't that movie solid? Yeah, it's pretty solid. Maybe not the best of the best. And then you rewatch it. And when I rewatch it every time, I'm like, it feels like there's a formula here, but it doesn't feel like it was a formula that it took from somewhere else. It feels like this was something that it did organically. And I know that Favreau and Downey Jr. were winging a lot of this and just ad-libbing lines. And I mean, I feel like, there was a really good screenplay here, though, because when you boil down this movie, it's brilliant. It's about the military industrial complex, which I guess a lot of these movies kind of are, and it's hard to kind of look at it from that lens because it's a superhero movie, it's a comic book movie. And I know a lot of people before the MCU would kind of write those movies off, and this is a movie that kind of helps give more legitimacy to the art form, because a lot of people don't see comic book movies as art. I mean, comics are art, but comic book movies, if you listen to Martin Scorsese, they're just roller coaster rides, right? But really, a lot of them have deep meaning and themes that other movies that aren't superhero movies would have. And yet those movies are seen for their themes as something brilliant. And these ones, because they're deeply rooted in this fun comic book way, it feels that they're given less attention. But really, this movie's brilliant because you have a hero who's incredibly smart, but uses his smarts to help further weapons sales so that, the government could buy weapons from Tony Stark and his company, and they could use that to go to war, do whatever they need to do. And then, Tony goes to war, not to actual war, but he's there to make a sales pitch. And then he's a victim of a bombing, kidnapped, made to make weapons for a terrorist organization. To see him be at this really low, like rock bottom, like I'm probably going to make them a weapon and they're going to kill me. That level of fear, to come out of it in such a way, not just, good in body, well, mostly still got that like problem where he's got, the shrapnel coming at his heart, but to come clearer in mind and to see that like what he was creating was a monster, creating this weapon that could kill so many people, and to see that used on innocent people and people threatened by the same organization that kidnapped him, changed him and showed him that he could use his smarts for good. He can help people. And to see the organization that he built come after him with like Obadiah Stane coming after him to crush him down and say, no, this guy's just, he's kidding. Of course, we're going to keep building weapons, even though Tony's like, I'm shutting down that division. And it's just kind of like the moral of the story is that when you try and do good, the people in power are going to do everything they can to stop you, because there's so many interests in America, in the world, that just want their money goals. They just want to make more and more money. It doesn't matter how the world is affected, as long as they make their money. That's all that matters to them. And to see someone who helped that process, or who helped that complex spread further, come back and then help try to stop it, and then to see the institution come back at him and try and stamp him down just for doing the right thing, it speaks volumes. At the end of the day, though, good always wins. It really does. It's one of those things where if your interests are rooted in something just really negative or evil, people can often see through that. It might take a while, because people who have power will often put a lot of their money, go figure, they're trying to get more and more money. So then they'll put some of that money towards like propaganda and, doing all of this stuff to try and stop people who are trying to do good, just so that they can make more money from that. So they got to spend money to make more money. It's a whole thing. But the point is, good people who speak up solve problems. I think that's why Iron Man is still super relevant to today. Over a decade later, it's almost 2 decades. Can you believe it? This thing's almost 20 years old. And it's also just a great movie of heroism. It's really cool. A previously kind of like underseen hero that only like really comics people really knew about. And then now Iron Man is one of the biggest heroes ever. Robert Downey Jr. was the perfect guy to play him. Just the way he talks and his whole demeanor. I love all of the fast talking that he does to establish that character. I'm really funny. Makes him kind of, he's likable and then not likable too. So he's got his flaws, because he's like a womanizer. He's kind of a jerk sometimes. He puts Pepper in like awkward situations. But at the end of the day, even Pepper Potts says, hey, here's proof that Tony Stark has a heart, that, Tony has a heart. And, that's the whole thing, is that at the end of the day, and we see this in later films, Tony will put his life at stake to do the right thing. And that's the mark of a true hero. And those are some of the best movies, is that you have someone who does the hard thing instead of the easy thing, even something that will actually cause them like financial trouble. Maybe not too much. He's still Tony Stark, but still it like hurts his bottom line. That was like his most profitable thing, was selling weapons, and he stopped it. But it just turns out that they were able to have this message in the shell of this really cool hero movie with a guy not planning on inventing like a really cool suit, but he did it out of necessity because he was, stuck in a cave and they wanted him to build a weapon. So instead he built this really cool suit to escape. And then he finds out that he can use that for good. He can like sharpen it, make it cooler, make it really fast, make it do all this cool stuff. And he can wear it and fly in it. And how he like clears that with the military and stuff. And they're like chasing him and things. A lot of it seems, I don't know if it seems realistic that you can build a suit like this in real life, but if you could, then it's kind of on more of a realistic level of what would happen if you did do that. Like the military would come after you. They don't really gloss over a lot of that stuff, so it just feels like really real, like a really cool, real movie that just happens to be a comic book movie, a superhero movie, and just one that, honestly, I don't know. I think this could have gotten more like Oscar attention because, like, this is just a really, really great movie, just in general. And, that's kind of like, what I want to go through with the series is just look and see like which ones might be like just really great movies in general, which ones might not be the best like movie, but might, be better for like just being like, a fun comic book movie or something. And I don't know if there's really a difference, to be honest. A great movie is a great movie, whether it's got a comic book shell, a horror shell, or whatever, doesn't super matter. Because, I mean, yeah, Iron Man is a great movie. It really still holds up so many years later. It's really got so much fun action to it. It's got a great villain. Obadiah Stane is scary as hell. The way he, like, appears as a friend, but then once you kind of threaten his wallet, he turns into a totally different guy. And then you realize he was the one trying to take down Tony this whole time. And you see, like, kind of how two-faced a lot of these people in power are, and how, you sometimes you feel like you can never even really trust anyone. And so this movie kind of gives you that paranoia as well. And the way they, go about showing this is really cool. And that's why I say it's got that duality where it's just got a lot of like great, like dramatic tension, but then it's got all of this really cool, like, superhero vibes as well. And, that kind of clash, I think, not clash, that kind of cohesion is how they were able to take this movie, specifically this one, and build such a huge, like the biggest movie franchise thing that we've ever seen. They were able to build this on the back of this movie. And because of that, it's such a great movie, and it just shows. You forget how great it is until you rewatch it, and then you're like, wow, this movie just slaps. It's got everything. It's funny, action-packed, heartwarming. It delivers a great message. Side characters are amazing. Villain, the hero, it's all amazing. I love the line at the very end where everyone's even trying to tell him, don't tell anybody the truth. Be kind of, this two-faced guy where you lie and just try to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. And here's a page of lines that we're going to tell you to read. And then Tony, the hero and the great person that he is like, I'm not going to lie to people. I'm just going to tell them the truth. I am Iron Man. It's such a perfect way to end that movie. Badass. Honestly, this one's fantastic. I'm going to give all of these, like, probably do a grade, I guess. This one's an A+, obviously. It's just one of the best movies. Iron Man is an A+, and it's also probably going to end up in my top 10. I don't know, top 5. There's so many great movies in this franchise. So anyways, yeah, like I said, I don't know if this series that I'm starting is, how long it's going to take me. I don't know if it's going to be relevant later. But I'm really excited to do it, to go through everything and just talk about my feelings about it. If you guys are interested and you want to leave some, comments about it, I know this is one of the most talked about franchises of all time. So, have fun. If you love this movie, you like it, you used to like it, and you don't anymore, or you never really liked it, or you don't like comic book movies, or you only like comic book movies, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whatever, just throw comments in there. Could have a lot of fun. Bring, having nostalgia about this movie again and discussing it. But regardless, check out some of my other reviews. Check out other stuff on the channel, like my You Ranking With Me series. We rank stuff, anything really. We rank a bunch of different things, mostly movies, but a lot of other stuff too. Yeah, if you can, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and thank you so much for watching.